Hello and welcome back to my channel. We rejoin the characters. They are now at the top of the chute. They have befriended, or maybe befriending is maybe a strong term. They are now have new associates. The dwarves, led by their leader. I have his name, Thusnell, son of Thringet. He is a large mountain dwarf. He says he hails from the Black Mountains. Exact location to be confirmed, but I am confident that once this adventure is finished, we can spend some quality time generating the location and all the nice details that comes with working out a dwarf stronghold. And who lives inside, which is going to be, I'm sure we're all going to enjoy that process. I haven't designed a good dwarf stronghold for a long time. Also, the characters, what they do when we get to the top of the chute is we explain. They ask the dwarves, have you been to this level? This is above the rest of Dunmorna. They say, no, we haven't. We didn't realize it went up. This is quite a revelation. Have you any more details you can show us? We say yes, we can. We give them quite a detailed look at our maps. So we show them level 0, which is the ground floor. We say if you go round to your left, you come across a chimney that will take you down to level 1. And they say, oh, you have certainly explored this area quite a deal. We entered the level that we found you on through an alternative route. And again, I think I don't really want to just determine that just now. We'll just leave that as a kind of thing that, the dwarves are quite secretive and they don't really want to give away too much information. We're not the best buddies. We're just really kind of convenient associates. So they have some secrets that they don't want to disclose specifically about the level 2 and access that they have achieved to get down to that level. But they do take some very detailed notes of what we have here as far as our maps are concerned. And we feel that it's been a very worthwhile transaction. The characters have been rewarded with their lives, because if you think of the odds, 8 brawny dwarf fighters, probably a reasonable armor class with nice shiny weapons, taking on 3 first level adventurers, even though they're armed with things like magic swords and they have some bonuses and stuff. And also our party was slightly depleted as far as hit points was concerned. I don't think the odds would have been that great. So we probably would have been captured as a minimum, if not slain by these dwarves. And I suppose when it comes down to actual war, the fact that they're lawful good, it doesn't mean to say that they're just going to be charity cases, and unless there's a way with it, they will probably want to either slay us in combat or capture us and take us back for possibly ransom, or worse, enslavement in one of their mines. So the mind boggles what nefarious purposes Thusnell and his associates would have us do. On the next steps, I would say that the dwarves decide to. Thusnell says it has been a good thing that we met today. It is time for us to depart. We will follow the instructions in some of your maps and try to pursue a different direction. Maybe we don't like sturges, so maybe we can take on that menace, or we might want to go up one of the other corridors that you've not discovered. Leave that to us. But farewell. And Dagobert says, it has been good to meet you. I feel that I have made a dwarf ally. I will always remember Thusnell, son of Thringit, and speak of him highly. Farewell. So we troop off, the dwarves troop off into the distance, up. If we actually look at the actual thing, they head off back up into this room, and then they disappear. And we presume that they've headed back down the chimney to level 1. So that's the end of that encounter. And we sigh. The only thing that we have to, and we might have been a hasty departure, because it might have been quite useful to have them hanging around maybe for just a little bit longer, because let's do an actual calibration of time. So if we retrace our steps, we had already done, we'd mapped up to here. We went down the chute. I would say the kind of recovery time and whatever, that took at least another, let's just round that up to 1 turn and get rid of this 3. So we're up to 3 turns. We have the encounter with the dwarves and the interaction. I would say that would take at least another probably 5 to 10 minutes, so that's going to be another turn. We have the decision on moving back up the chute, and the fact that Tristan had to do the heavy lifting on that, and basically take his rope up, make sure that he was secure at every stage. I would say that takes another turn, so we're up to 5. And then we have to have our rest period, and during our rest period, that's probably when we had our conversation. So if we include in Tristan's doing the activity in the 5th, and all the other dwarfs and our characters scuttling up the chute, we're spending the 6th turn resting. And do you know what happens when it comes to? So I would say that maybe, you know, we've actually paced this out, and as the dwarves are departing, it could be quite useful having, do you not fancy coming back just for a couple of seconds? Let's see what our roll would be for wandering monsters. Now we have a 1 in 10 chance of a wandering monster, so let's see exactly what happens. So make sure my dice tray is in focus. We have a 5, so there's none. So we say bye-bye, cheerio dwarves. You're not actually needed just now, but it's been nice seeing you. You never know, we might bump into each other again. Okay, so I think that rationally goes through all the time breakdown, the final farewell to the dwarves. Now, when you think of it, we also, you know, I'm maybe being a bit light-hearted about the dwarves and how they leave us, but for future purposes, and I'll make a reference to this, we will have a dwarf settlement, a layer to generate. And I think that's 40 to 400 dwarves will be in this particular thing. And we know 1 NPC that we've already met, and the 7 other faceless dwarves that were in his party. We can randomly place that. And also, we have information about a dwarf settlement that we can relay back to Marchton. And if they haven't already discovered this fact, we have some new information that we can give to Lord Seaward and his associates. There are potential dwarves in the Black Mountains, which they probably suspected anyhow, but we now have concrete evidence, and there is a potential to get an ally that we could enlist into the side of lawful good and lawful neutral to fight against these evil minions of chaos and evil and all the despicable forces that are in the Badlands and the Rough Hexes. And if you remember the actual map of the region, we had the Black Mountains, and they have right in the middle of them this rough hex. So you could almost imagine this chain originally in the old days was a chain of mountains, and suddenly maybe this during the Wizards' War there was a massive strike by a weapon that destroyed this probably a region of mountains as well, we would assume, but you know we're not entirely sure, and has created a wasteland. And maybe that was part of the overall kingdom that the dwarves had. But at least we've got 4 hexes that we can say, well, there's a good chance that we have the location of these Black Mountain dwarves. So we are expanding the setting through these encounters. Now, if we have another encounter with dwarves, we're not suddenly going to say, oh, right, that's going to be in another settlement. What we will do is we'll maybe calibrate it to say, well, there's a very good chance that they are from that first settlement that we have discovered. And we're not just going to create a multiplicity of settlements and places. So I would say that for game terms, each individual encounter, probably the first one, the primary one, is going to generate the chance of having a layer that we haven't come across before, and then any secondary ones and tertiary ones, there is going to be a good chance that they're going to be with the existing more individuals from that particular layer. So they might not be the same party. They might not all be that particular, Thusnell. They might not all be part of his individual retinue, but they might be other dwarves, but of the same polity under the king. Okay, right. Let me just get my thoughts together. Yeah, I had to deal with my cats. It was causing malicious damage outside. It's about 15 years old. Well, in fact, it's 15 years old. It's quite idiosyncratic. It's beautiful to look at, but it's got quite like a 1% of it is a bit of a psychopath. It's probably got that corruption factor affecting it, so it does tend to be rather demanding. I was just saying to my wife, it was like having a small child again. It's very demanding. You think you get to my age that you don't really, you can just have some focus on things 100%, but no, Maisie requires a bit of effort. But once I finish this video, I'll give her a bit of quality time. In fact, as I said in previous videos, she quite enjoys just sitting watching these things and listening to. I think she likes the pencil as it moves about, and dice, and things like counters, and my hands. She seems to like the hands moving around. It's probably thinks these cat videos that you get with birds, and they come on and they flutter. Maybe it's the same kind of thing. My fingers and hands are like birds. Okay, there was one other thing. We've had our encounter check. The characters are at the top of the chute. They are feeling a bit under the weather. Tristan, if we look at our little ready reckoner, Tristan was down to 5, and Dagobert's down to 2. Now, I was thinking, can clerics cure themselves? But that's probably not really what that would be against maybe some of the church strictures, because they are supposed to be help others. So I don't think there is a chance that they can do it to themselves. Put their hands on, say on Dagobert's hand, and say you are cured. I don't really think it really works that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and boost Tristan's hit points back up to full level. So if we get the player's handbook out, and because he's got Dagobert's got Cure Light Wounds as his memorized clerical spell. So we've only had one spell in action so far, which has been Hold Portal, which has been very, very useful. You know, Tristan really used it at a key point, and it provided a lot of good quality magic user entertainment. But we haven't used any of Dagobert's spells, and he's got a feeling I've got to you know, follow the teachings of Bane. Make sure that I am doing all the clerical things that I should be doing. Maybe the other day I should have been turning the undead. Now I've got to try and demonstrate that I am good at handing out medical assistance. Cure Light Wounds is one of the key spells that I can do. So let's just have a look at it. It has a vocal and a somatic, so maybe he does the stuff with his hands. He's got that over, you know, say, Tristan, sit down. I'm going to administer this Cure Light Wounds and give you healing. I see that you're feeling a bit under the weather. He says something like, please, Bane, give me the power to cure Tristan's wounds. And Dagobert puts his hands on Tristan's head and maybe his arm. So upon laying his or her hand upon a creature, the cleric causes from 1 to 8 hit points of wound or other injury damage to the creature's body to be healed. And then it goes on about being non-corporal and whatever, and then the reverse. So he's not going to do the reverse. So I would say, and that only takes casting time. It's only 5 segments, so it's almost instantaneous in game terms. So we do 1 to 8. I'll get my D8 out. Is that my D8? It is, yeah. So let's see how many of Tristan's hit points we can cure. Yay! We do the. In fact, we do more than he can get, because he can get a maximum of 4. So let's do +4. So he's back up to 9. So we'll do a revised total. Now Dagobert maybe has to hang back, because they say, you know, Dagobert, you are a leader. You have potential of a potential weakness that you're down to 2 hit points. We don't want to risk you in maybe combat. So if we do come up against something, maybe let Tristan and Lindris carry the burden of fighting, as they are trained to do, because they are fighters. As one of 50% of their vocation. And Dagobert says, yes, I will lead from behind. And on this score, I'm feeling a bit faint just now. I'm only down to 2 hit points. So, you know, it's taken a lot out of me, that shoot. I had a bit of a nasty grazing under my robes. So I think we're up to point. We're now faced with the point that we were almost back to square one again. And let's just look at the time on our thing. Yes, we're down. We've had a rest period. We've had a wandering monster check. We're now up to 11:30. It's nothing to panic about time-wise. We've got plenty of time. Turn. So we have to have a wee think. Shall we go? You know, we know the dwarves have gone back down the chute, the chimney. We're not interested at all at this stage of going back down to level 2, but we know that that's an option, and this is probably going to lead to more powerful monsters. So we do have some good information now that we can come back to this. We know about this chute. We could probably navigate it properly next time. You know, maybe throw down some ropes, some long ropes, like 60-foot rope at least, and get down access to level 2. So that's probably quite good news, and it's a good discovery to have, especially if we get, say we get another level, we'll be more powerful and we'll be able to go down and take on whatever's down here. You know, that's quite exciting. Why don't we go back up down this corridor here and find out what's down here, what's down this corridor. So they think that's a good idea, Dagobert. Let's go back up into this room and down this corridor. And what we'll do is, we've already had 2 periodic checks. We'll have another periodic check down this corridor and find out what's down the corridor. So not only what's behind the door, but what's down the corridor can be another mantra that we can utter when exploring Dunmorna. And what an interesting little dungeon Dunmorna is proving to be. It's really paying quite a dividend in interesting little quirks, and you know, we've had all sorts of quite interesting encounters. Lately the dice have not been with us, so hopefully we can pray to Bane, and he can give us a bit of help with this die roll. So let's roll a periodic check down the corridor. We get a 16, and a 16 is a chamber, and then we'll check 35 after leaving table. So I would read that yes, we will do another 30 feet and then check the yeah. So let's get our little, where is my piece of, yeah, I like to have this as my bit for drawing on. Get our map out again. We do 30 feet, and then we'll check a chamber. So we'll have 30 feet down here, 30 feet. We've got this, and we can use these lines here. Let's see what Lindra's skills has been like. He's still got it. And then we'll check a chamber down here. So we'll get our Dungeon Master's Guide out again. And what we do is chamber and room shape and size. So we use our D20 on this. We get a 19. Oh dear is the unusual shape and size. See subtable below. It's going to be all these funny words again. Let's just go for it. We have a 2, which is circular. Well, hey, 1 to 5 has, all right, this is going to be a bit crazy. So, circular. 1 to 5 has pool, see table 7, sorry, table 8, A and C if appropriate. 6 to 7 has a well, 8 to 10 has a shaft, and 11 to 20 is normal. Ooh, right. And an unusual size, D20. Okay. So this is, I'm going to have to start working out areas and, you know, use that kind of pi times, you know, that thing, pi d and all that sort of stuff. Oh my goodness. Okay. Right. Let's get an idea of what sort of size it is. Yeah. So yeah, remember the square root, so we're going to have to actually use some mathematics here. Yeah, that's a great thing about Dungeons and Dragons, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It really brings out all life skills in one neat package. 11, about 2,700 square feet. Okay. Right, so what is the formula for the area of a circle? Now pi d. I shouldn't. This is where I could probably use a computer to sort of say, let's do if that was an area, and that was 2,700. that would be, let's see, what would be the multiplier for that? That would be, we've had 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25. So it's probably going to be about, just say almost 5, say 50 by 50. And if it's a circle, it's going to be within a 50 by 50 square. So the only way you can do that is, and is this going to work? Because let's see, if this is level 0 and it's above, this is where we've got to do this type of stuff here and do our geometrics. So yeah, we do have the yeah, because that's not going to hit the outside of the just do a quick area thing. So if we do the outside, it comes up to about here. I'll do a bit, this is not like tracing paper, so this is real basic stuff. Yeah, so we've got this area to play with. So I would say that we could have a circular room that's about almost 50 by 50. It's maybe not going to be quite as big as that because it's circular in this location here. So, okay. And I would say it would have to be kind of off. So it can't take in, although it could, you know, that shoot's going down. So theoretically it could go like this, couldn't it? Maybe that's the way to do it. So let's say 50 by 50. It's going to come in at one side of the circle. So 50 by 50 is going to come out to there. Yeah. So 50 by 50 would if I roughly do a big 50 by 50, it comes down to about here. And then I do 50 across here. Let's do it, it's a bit easier if I do this. If you can see what I'm doing. That's 25 to there. And then another 50 up to here. Yeah, 50 up to here. So that's what I'll do. I'll almost create a circle. And I won't bother with the 2,700. I'll just say it's 2,500. And then I'll do a circle inside that. Yeah. So generally I would have a circle that would come like that. It's a bit of a wonky circle there. And the shoot's gone down there. I shouldn't really even have it on that map, but imagine that's the circle there. Okay. And we just ignore these bits here. That was just to generate the circle. So that's a very rough circle that I am creating there. Now that we've created the unusual chamber, let's get back to all the exciting things that we can have going on, firing off inside this chamber. And it said that we could have, I'm just going to put a piece of paper in there, just to mark that, because I get a bit irritated. We have to keep on having to open this up. So number of exits, let us do a d20 for that. We have 1, so it's up to over 600, 2 exits. And exit location, we will have 11, so that's the left wall, and 14, the right wall. Exit locations, we're going to have here, here, and here. And these will be passages going out because it's a chamber. So that's 2 exits. And then we can do exit direction if we go through it. Now we can do the chamber or, well, let's go back to this. because it said circular, 1 to 5 has pool, 6 to 7 has well, 8 to 10 has shaft, and 11 to 20 is normal. So let's roll that first. So we'll do 1 to 20. So it has a pool. Amazing. We have a pool in this circular room. Bravo. So table 8, we look at. Table 8, pools. Well, it has a chance of a pool. A to C if appropriate. A or C. Okay, so it can be a pool or a magic pool. So what's the reading on that? 1 to 5 has pool. A and C if appropriate. So does that mean I can roll? Pools. Pool no monster, pool monster and treasure. Magical, here we go, yes. So magical pool, that's a sub table. So we have to roll on this. So it might say no pool. Okay, right, we roll it on this. It's indicating that we make a pool check. So let's do the, you see here we can have 1 to 8 no pool, but then we could have a magical pool, and then we get into all this area here. So this is quite exciting. You know, I haven't had a magical pool in this campaign yet, so we've got a circular room with a pool in it. Okay, right, we'll do our 1 to 20 check and see what happens. 20, wow, we have got the magical pool. We have a magical pool inside here. Wow. Okay. Well, I think I'm just gonna wait on determining what that is just now, and say that we have a magical pool. So let's go back to this picture. So say we have we've got a magical pool. So if we get our actual diagram, and we get back to our notes, what was it, Adventure 3, and we were on level 0. Level 0 key, and it's room, we're up to 15 there, so I would say that's room 16. Room 16, and it is roughly 50 by 50 circular chamber. It has a magic pool. And does that mean that we do a check? Let me just see the reading again. Check on contents. Or is it classified as empty? Right. Unusual. 1 to 5 has 6 to 7. Yeah. I still think you might make a check for chamber or room contents. So let's just do that and see whether we have a. So even though it's got like a pool, it's going to have a magic pool in it, and it's going to have some contents or potential contents, and we will make this roll on this table, because I can't see anything that says you don't make the roll, because you roll for shape, size, and exits, then contents, treasure, and yes. So let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're going to do a 1d20 on contents. Now this could make, again, this could be the make or break. We get the 20. 20, yes! You've seen it, Treasure in a magic pool. Oh my goodness. What could all this mean? this is, have they hit the lottery? Have they hit the lottery, the jackpot? And I can see that I'm kind of running out of time. However, shall we have a quick look and see? This is quite revelatory. I will just make a note. So we've got a magic pool. We've got a chance of treasure. No monster. Magic pool. We've got to determine these 2 items. Okay. A bit of excitement here. Yeah, characters have thinking, ooh, what have we come across? What is this? Let's think through a logical order of events. Now, Lindris is thinking, how on earth am I going to map this? It's going to take me a while. So it's roughly, say that's 50 by 50. So if we cut down because of the area, I would say that would be, say, almost equivalent to 40 by 40, because we're taking out quite a bit of area. You know, I could work it out exactly, but I'm just giving a kind of rough rule of thumb. That is going to be 4 20 by 20 zones, and it's 20 by 20 takes a turn, so that would take about 4 turns to map. Okay, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to map this empty or appears to be empty. Yeah, they'll do that. So that'll take 4 turns to map it. And then they are going to, they'll probably have to map out, say there's a magic pool in the center. Now, how big would that magic pool be? Is there any indications on what the pools are? What the size is? Let's have a look. Unusual shape. So we've got the pools. It just says sea table. It doesn't say anything about the size of the pool. It's not obviously not going to. Well, it shouldn't be the whole size of the chamber. And by the name pool, it sounds as though it's a subset of the chamber. It's going to be much smaller, or appear to be smaller. It's not a lake, because there are lakes, and you'd imagine a lake taking up a lot, but a magic pool. So let's see what it does, what these magic pools do. Turns gold to platinum, or lead. Will, on a one-time only basis, add 1 to 3 or subtract 4 to 6 from 1 count. Oh dear. All right, okay, so it's one of those type of pools. A talking pool will grant 1 wish. Oh no, it's the wish. Oh dear. Or a transporter pool. 1 to 7 back to surface, 8 to 12 elsewhere on level, 13 to 16 1 level down, 17 to 20 100 miles away for outdoor. Wow, this is absolutely off the chart, isn't it? I think we've got to kind of take stock on this. Yeah, I think the characters are, you know, let's look at it from the characters' point of view. So they've mapped that out. Let's say the pool, for sake of argument, is a large circular pool in the center. There's no fountain or anything. Now it's a bit confusing because I've got this chute coming down. So they have this pool with the water in it, and it's shimmering water, and it's a magic pool. So maybe it's going to emanates an aura. So we're going to have a think. Do any of the characters exhibit any abilities in that respect? And they'll be able to discern it. And then there's going to be a risk factor that if it is a magic pool, do they go ahead? I think that's worthy of it. I think the fact that this room is probably worthy of an entire episode. Just going through. I wasn't, we never expect anything like this, but basically, and also we've got a treasure. We've got a treasure. We have to determine. I am going to just take a line in the sand on this and end on a note of mystery. Mystery about this magic pool, and what treasure what treasure is hidden in this room, and use that as a hook to get you back for the next episode, to find out. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Okay, that was quite an entertaining little succession, from dwarves to magic pools. That's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons for you. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.